just want to pivot slightly over to Chelsea. Why would Chelsea want Garnacho when you look at what they've got?
It is very interesting because, of course, they have so many options out wide. Pedro Neto hasn't really shown those numbers that he previously has shown at Wolves. But then you'd also argue Alejandro Garnacho isn't necessarily guaranteeing you those numbers either. So perhaps Chelsea are looking to continue a younger profile of player in their squad and probably fits their system a bit more, being an out-and-out winger. I think the question really is that Christopher Nkunku, and I'm sure we'll talk about him soon, but really does he unlock a lot of these transfers? Because he's the one who's not playing all that much at Chelsea. We'll have to wait and find out. But I think there's a few wingers there that Enzo Maresca will want more production from.
OK, well, let's talk about Nkunku then, because he is a potential Manchester United target, although they will not meet Chelsea's £70 million valuation of the forward just yet. Again, this obviously could be something that happens straight after Garnacho, if that deal goes through. Just want to get your thoughts on Nkunku, and how he would fit into the Manchester United system, to the Ruben Amorim
honestly,
system.
You couldn't write this. On a personal, listen, I'm so neutral. I have no idea why Chelsea want Garnacho, I'll be honest. They need a goalkeeper. They need help in midfield. So as a neutral, I have no idea why Chelsea would entertain 60 million north for Alejandro Garnacho, but that's a Chelsea issue.
Do you think Nkunku going the other way?
Nkunku going the other way,
better deal for United?
Nkunku going the other way has some pros and cons. The pros are he fits the system instantly better than Garnacho does. Him playing as a left 10 or a right 10, that's cash money for Nkunku. That's what he's made his career off. He's a very talented player. He's 27 years of age. He's in his prime. The problems are injuries since he's arrived here. He missed 48 games via injury last season, 22 injuries. 22 games out the season before that. Difficult position, but alone a short-term option to the end of the season with maybe an option for Manchester United would probably help. But Manchester United, in my opinion, should not be committing significant funds with a big contract, lengthy contract, to somebody who's come to the league, and especially with what's happened with Mason Mount as well. Chelsea probably saw a trick come in there. I think it'll be naive of Manchester United to offer Nkunku a big contract.
More likely a loan.
Yeah, absolutely.
That would be fine.
I think it's kind of what we were saying a bit earlier in terms of a chain reaction in the transfer market. And I think one thing is clear is Chelsea are looking to bolster their options out wide. But it's kind of, does Nkunku, he's also been linked with a move to Bayern Munich if Tell was to leave the club. So we're kind of waiting for a chain reaction to happen. But I do agree, really what we're talking about in this transfer window is profile of players fitting different clubs. Nkunku on paper absolutely fits what United are trying to do, perhaps compared to Garnacho, just in terms of being in their 10, being in close proximity in those close spaces. And perhaps as a profile, he would fit Chelsea a bit better.
Yeah, OK. Well, listen, that Garnacho deal, potential deal, possibly him leaving Manchester United, could be the start of the domino effect. Another line for you, and this could obviously be affected by the Garnacho situation. Christopher Nkunku has emerged as a potential Manchester United target in this window as Chelsea consider making a move for United forward Alejandro Garnacho.
January. Things have stepped up now. There's talks ongoing now between Chelsea and Manchester United. And this is a really important deal that United get right because they've been really active in the transfer market in terms of bringing in players. Now the priority is selling players. Alejandro Garnacho would represent pure profit from a profit and sustainability perspective. Previously, they were looking for around 60 million pounds. I'm unsure they're going to get that right now because of a number of conditions. The fact he's been frozen out of the first team picture. He's not training with the first team squad. I know Ruben Amorim says he'll be reintegrated if there isn't the market value met by a club like Chelsea. But also Ruben Amorim said that Garnacho was looking for a new type of leader. He's looking for a new type of project. So you'd expect him to depart. Chelsea, yes, they have a number of wide players, but all these different wide players have a specific profile as well. We know Garnacho is a very, very talented player. Perhaps he needs the right manager and the right club. So I think this is a deal that could happen. Chelsea want to try and sign him before the end of this transfer window. I think he will depart before the end of this transfer window. I think he'll probably head to Chelsea as well.
And it's been a busy summer of player sales and incomings at Chelsea. The one man to keep an eye on over the next few weeks, though, is Nicholas Jackson, who has told the club that he wants to explore his options. The only issue is his valuation, which is quite high. Is that the big stumbling block for him leaving?
I think that'll be a huge stumbling block. He's got 8 years left on his contract, which is quite remarkable when you think about it. So if someone's got 8 years left on his contract, their value is so much higher. But he's young, he's 24 years old, but for Chelsea, they're looking at recouping around 80 to 100 million pounds. They're using Hugo Ekitike's move to Liverpool as a bit of a benchmark in terms of value. It's a player that can play in the Premier League, proven in the Premier League, but is he an 80 to 100 million pound striker? Personally, I'm unsure, and I think that makes a deal at that price very, very difficult to make happen.
Jeff, if the valuation comes down, could you see him at Newcastle?
I think the value does need to come down, definitely. At Newcastle, I'm unsure. Just Newcastle have missed out on a few targets they've had this year, and I think just because Jackson's become available, I don't know if they will just say yes and jump at that as their option. I'm sure they have other players on their list who they will be looking to get in. So just because he's become available, I don't think.
Chelsea have been in advanced talks with both players' representatives, with agreements on personal terms believed to be near completion. This marks a major statement of intent from the club as they look to bolster their attacking options ahead of the new season. Chelsea manager Enzo Maresca is said to be a huge admirer of Garnacho's explosive pace and Simon's creative flair, believing the duo could play pivotal roles in his long-term project at Stamford Bridge.